Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name's Tina and I'm bobbing along nicely. Welcome back if you've already seen me wittering away on the internet before, and if you're new here, an extra special welcome to you too. I hope to just chat really about what I've been sewing, what I've been up to in the sewing room, what I finished, what I haven't finished, and any future plans I have for sewing. So it's just a general catch up really. So last weekend was a bank holiday here in the UK and I had lots of sewing time. It was great. It was quite warm, so I didn't spend all of my time up here. There was some time sitting in the garden too as well. The first project that I started was the most straightforward, and I'm pleased to say that it's actually now in the post to my daughter, and that's the swimsuit that I made for her from scraps of two other swimsuits that I'd made for myself. It's the Edgewater Avenue Frankie. We went for the full coverage backside. We trialled the cheeky coverage, and that was much too cheeky even for her with her figure. But it's nice. It's got a nice side tie detail or front tie detail on it as well. And it came together really quickly. The instructions are great, and I would highly recommend Edgewater Avenue if you want to have a go at sewing swimwear. So as I said, the fabrics were both left over. I can't remember where the black lining came from, but the blue spotty fabric came from Pound Fabrics here in the UK, and it was really quite cheap. I can't remember, probably about £5 or £6 a metre. So having got two swimsuits out of it, and mine was substantially larger, I would certainly recommend them for swimwear if they have any in stock. You do have to sort of see what they have available. So far, so straightforward. That was the beginning of my weekend, and I have to say I spent quite a lot of time on Saturday scratching my head. I joined Seamwork a few weeks ago specifically to take part in a planning course, if you like, called Design Your Wardrobe. I'm very good at making dresses. I've made loads of dresses last year, 22 or 23 I think. I love wearing them, but I do need to start thinking about making outfits that go together. I have a few trips planned next year where my luggage space will be limited, and I don't want to be taking 22 dresses on a 22-day trip. Much as I'd like to, I need to start thinking about separates and coordinates. So I joined the Seamwork course, and Seamwork in itself, the membership, specifically for that. It's going quite well so far. I'm not keeping up with the pace of it. I think you're expected to do it in 4 weeks. Instead, I'm taking time, and at the moment I'm building a Pinterest page all about sort of colours and textures and shapes that I like. But it has been quite good so far to look at objectively at what I thought my style was and what it actually is. It's been quite an eye-opener. It's much more colourful and perhaps slightly less sedate than I thought, which is always good. Whilst I'm on Seamwork, I thought I'd start taking advantage of their patterns. They're all free to members. And I found a pattern for a dress that I like the look of. It's called the Baker dress, and I thought that would be, if I can get the fit right, it would be a nice dress with slightly longer sleeves to move into more autumnal pieces, because obviously we're approaching autumn here in the UK. So far so good. I cut the fabric out. I was toiling it in that plum coloured duvet cover, actually, the one I showed you the other week. I got so far, and I have to say the instructions completely threw me. They made 0 sense. The piece that we're looking at is this. Okay, this is actually the side panel. So that is the princess seam that goes down your front. That's the armhole. So it's a very straightforward piece. But the instructions to attach it to the rest of the bodice made no sense. I honestly thought it was me. I spent quite a lot of time scratching my head. It told you to roll up the main body of the fabric, and I thought, well, that sounds like a burrito, but it's not a burrito. And I spent quite a long time thinking this doesn't make any sense at all, to the point that I actually went on the internet and found out that I'm not the only person to have this problem. I came across a vlog on YouTube by a lovely lady called Samantha. Her handle is Sewing in Switzerland. And I followed her because she's actually really interesting and has some interesting points of view and some interesting information to share. But she'd had exactly the same problem. And if you want to hop over to her vlog, she did quite an in-depth talk about it, the conversations that she had with Seam Work, the responses that she had, and the conversations that she's had with other sewists about this pattern. The upshot is that the instructions are not clear, they don't make sense, and in the end I just attached it in the way that I felt made the most sense, and it worked. I do still need to lengthen the bodice because the gathering hits at completely the wrong place on my bust. So I will take some time to adjust that. For the moment, it's actually gone into the naughty corner because I was so cross and I wanted to get on with sewing. So I put it to one side, but I will extend the bodice, retoile it, and hopefully it will become a go-to pattern because I like the shape of it. And I like the fact that that pattern piece sits differently. There is no side seam, which is, you know, what happens on most dresses. So I'll stick with it, but I'll come back to it. The other thing that I finished, and I can now share with you, I think I've hinted at it a couple of times, is the Sundowner cover-up. Now this is the September pattern for the My Handmade Wardrobes Weekend Sewing Club. I've mentioned it a few times before, and I'm fortunate enough to be on the pattern testing team. It's a fantastic little pattern. It's a slouchy, dropped shoulder cover-up. Mine I made in a really nice dead stock lightweight denim that was kindly gifted to me by Indolisi Fabrics. I will pop a link up here somewhere if I can work out how to do that. If not, I'll put it in the comments. It's a really nice pattern. It's very straightforward, but it has a lovely neat finish with a nice cuff, big wide pockets. And the idea of the pattern is that you can make it in woven, you can make it in stretch, you could do it in a lightweight chiffon as a cover-up for an evening, maybe make it as a poolside cover-up for a holiday. It's really, really versatile. And I like those kind of patterns because they're good value for money. You don't end up buying lots of different patterns for lots of different items. I've got a photo of it here. If you want to make one yourself, then the pattern is part of the My Handmade Wardrobes Weekend Sewing Club membership. It's open now, actually, open to new members now until the 30th of the month. But if you join, you get access to all of the previous patterns. So the tie-sided dress, there's a t-shirt, and you get access to all of the patterns as you go along. I think it's really good value for money. Sarah breaks each garment down into really straightforward steps in terms of the preparation week by week. And then there's a monthly sew along where you can actually make yours at the same time as other people on a Saturday morning. Well, that's Saturday morning here in the UK. I know there are members all over the world, actually. If you like the idea of that, then sign up. I'll pop a link below. If you mention my name, I think there might actually be a little fabric goodiness in there for you. So it's worth mentioning my name if you do decide that the Weekend Sewing Club is something that's of interest to you. And I finished another project, started and finished. I showed you the fabric that I had in my Think Pink Sewscription box, my first box the other day. Really, really pleased with it. And to the point I couldn't bear to leave it sitting in a box. So it was overlocked and pre-washed pretty quickly. And then I thought about what I was going to make with it. Now, it's a very lightweight fabric and I felt it couldn't take too much structure, if you like. It needed to be floaty and free. So I returned to a pattern that I've made several times. In fact, I'm wearing one. This is the chalk and notch fringe dress. I'll pop that's the basic pattern. I'll pop a proper line drawing up here for you. There are two views. I like this pattern a lot. It suits me. It suits my shape. It's got really good instructions. and it comes in two different bust options. It comes in an A to B cup size or a C, D cup size, which means that I don't have to do any pattern amendments. And I like that because he means I don't have to do too much alteration before I can start sewing and ultimately wearing a garment. Now, I've made view A several times before, this one included. It has the buttons and the turn up with the placket there, and it's just a go-to pattern for me. I have to say that it was going to be a challenge to get a fringe dress cut out of that 2.5 meters of fabric. As I'm sure you'll have gathered by now, there's quite a lot of me, so 2.5 meters is always going to be a challenge, but I was nothing if not determined. So for this one, I decided to make view B, partly because I didn't think that really lightweight fabric could take the weight of buttons. Not that buttons are heavy, but in terms of any kind of pulling or dragging. So I made it, and I really, really like the result. The neckline shape is lovely. I'll pop a photo up here. I omitted the waist ties, again, because I felt it needed to be a little bit more floaty than perhaps my other versions. And my standard pattern amendment for most patterns, and the fringe included, is to add 10 centimetres to the length, because I'm quite tall. I made, now what size did I make? I should have written this out. I made their size 20, which fits me comfortably. And if I do make it with the waist ties, I can pull it in to make it slightly more fitted. But I like a slightly slouchy but not shapeless dress. And I particularly like the fringe because it has this lovely curved hem. And I did a rolled hem on it, which I was very, very pleased with. I did practice actually on a scrap of fabric. I don't know if you could see that. I normally do rolled hems on the overlocker. They're super quick. I have quite a few colours of overlocker thread, and I just find it's a slightly lazy but an efficient way of doing a rolled hem. I didn't have any purple thread, and also I thought with this fabric I didn't want that overlocked edge showing particularly, so I did a proper rolled hem, and I was really pleased with that. So having used that finish and my lovely new neat facing finish, the result is a garment I'm really proud of and really pleased of. I took my time over it, didn't rush it, and it's going to be one of those dresses that I hope that I will wear for a very long time. So that's it for my sewing last weekend. I can't believe it's nearly the weekend again. The weather certainly changed. It's wet and windy here. You might be able to hear it. I'm quite close to a window. I hope that it hasn't distracted you too much. In terms of my sewing plans, I have a few commitments over the next few days. I'm stewarding in a gallery or an exhibition that I'm part of. But you may have spotted behind me that, yes, I have cut out the 2 contrasting fabrics that I bought from Manisha's Fancy Fabrics and Trims for my Bellum night dress. I'm hoping I've got the pattern placement right. I was quite careful in terms of how I position the fabrics in different directions. I hope that it's worked, but I really won't know until I have finished sewing it together. So that's my next job. Hopefully I'll get that done over the next few days, and then I'll be able to show you next time. So as ever, thank you all so much for watching, for engaging, for the thumbs ups, and especially for the comments. I really do love being able to engage with people all over the world. Talking about other people, I do have to say at this point a really big thank you to somebody. Now, as you know, I'm very new to YouTube. I didn't really know very much about it. I still don't. But I do follow somebody who I have found incredibly helpful in sewing and all sorts of other things really. But Sam of Sequin Girly Creates. She has a series of YouTube videos telling you all about how to set up a YouTube channel. So if it's something that you've been thinking of, I would thoroughly recommend going over to her channel, finding those and watching them. But more importantly, just go over and follow her. She has the most joyful wardrobe. She talks about all the things that she makes. She has ironing board chats where she'll just sort of sit and stand and iron her fabric and talk about all sorts of things sewing. And she's just got a really, really naturally engaging style. So definitely go and follow her if you don't already. And to Sam, thank you. She's helped me enormously in getting started. She's also running a challenge over the next 3 months. It starts on the 1st of September and I'm joining in. So I won't say too much about it now. It is inspired by a TV programme and I think there are 7 or 8 people taking part. So when I next do a video, I will tell you all about it and what my plans are for the first project. So, as ever, thank you very much, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.